one you worked before is the biggest in Ontario. And I was like, yo, I don't know.
Who's this person?
Yeah, right.
Right?
So I was like, oh yeah. And then they were like, yeah, that place is like, I just hear really good things and it's so successful. And I was like, oh yeah. Okay, well, I think you should go there. How about you go there? Don't
Did
come
you
here.
actually?
Yeah. Not.
Yeah.
I was like, I think you're right. What you hear is correct. You should go there. This is the one guy who
Has the best smile on the team.
right? COVID ruined it.
Yeah.
He wore a mask.
Yeah, but his interview, I will never forget
Right?
it.
This guy laughed the entire time. And I was like, is this guy high?
No,
Yeah,
he
just
has
that.
the
Everything I
best
said, he was
smile.
like, yeah. Okay. I really like this guy's energy. And then he comes in and we're wearing masks and COVID. And I remember one day stopping and be like, man, your best asset is your smile. And we haven't seen it in 2 years. Like,
I know.
COVID's killing your vibe, man. Because
Yeah.
we couldn't see your smile. Right. And
smile.
that is the thing then, the interview process that I was like, you and I were both like, his smile, like he's so happy.
Yeah.
And you weren't.
The good news is like I don't sit too far from him, so I hear his little giggle all day, whether it's warranted or not. Sometimes I'm like, hey, listen, are you laughing at me? And then sometimes he's laughing with me, but it's the best.
So today on the show is Rez. I remember when I met Rez and he said his full name and I was like, listen, man, I'm not going to be able to say it. And I'm sorry. I cannot get my mouth around those vowels. So do you mind if I call you Rez? And at first we gave you a different nickname, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what, I was probably joking. I'm like, all right, we're going to call you Rezzy. And I was joking. And he said, okay. Right? That's the type of guy he is. He's
Sweet
a sweetheart.
man.
That's right. Yeah.
And he says to Jacob, I don't really think I like that. And Jacob's like, then tell him. He's probably just messing around. You're like, yeah, no. By the way, I don't want to be called that. People, you can just call me Rez. And I was like, dude, I was just messing with you.
Yeah, I remember that night.
Remember that day?
Yeah, I remember that day.
I was like,
I was too scared to tell you.
And
Jacob's
now
scared.
he tells you
Don't
too
tell-
much.
he's my favorite guy to bug at the 2:00 meetings.
Yes.
Because I always get a laugh or a smile out of him. And he is someone that came to us we were doing remote because we had to. Now we do it all the time in interviews to see like agents' ability on camera. Can they connect? It's a big part of what we do. But you came to us during that time and you were working at another brokerage. Before we get there, what were you doing previously? And what did you decide to do? Because again, you didn't decide I'm going to work at Nuborrow when you first got on your working career. What is it that your background, your history that you think leads to strengths to what you do today?
My first job, I started working in the hospitality industry. So I've done everything in the hospitality. I've been there for like 9-10 years, from serving, dishwashing, kitchen, then managed, then I did general managing. So, obviously working with customers, they're, dealing with staff. So all that, experience from that's why I thought going to the mortgage industry would be beneficial for me. That's one of my strengths. When I left the hospitality industry, I had no idea. The reason why I left actually, because my parents, coming from the background we are, they're like, if you work nights and evenings stay out late, no one's gonna marry you. No girl's gonna be with you. I was like,
Hey,
okay. So it
you're
took me a
not
couple of
wrong.
years. It was so hard because at that time I was like, this is it. Like I'm gonna be here. I'm the GM. I was thinking about my next move. Then I gave in. I'm like, what should I do? Okay, went and got my mortgage license. Went to another brokerage, right? 6 months went by, did nothing there. I'm like, okay, this is not working out for me. So I'm like, you know what? I still have my license parked at the brokerage. I'll still do whatever comes across. So I went and got a job at the bank. I actually went through 2 jobs during that period. And then COVID happened. One of my buddies actually used to work here, and he was like, come to Nuborrow. I was like, no, man, like I can't take the chance, right? Because the other brokerage, I wasn't doing any deals right? So I'm like, there's no point. I'm like, I'm sure this is the same thing, I gotta go figure everything out. I'm not gonna get clients. COVID happened, got laid off due to COVID, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot, and I applied here. got the job, and never looked back.
It was one of those moments in that interview where I remember saying to you, well, how many deals have you done?
Yeah.
And most people during that process, because I wouldn't know how to check, usually the go-to is,
Oh, I've done like 10.
yeah,
like
I've
12.
done this, I've done that. And I was surprised that you were like, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
With
like,
a smile on your face.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Just
nothing. And you're like, yeah, man, I'm not going to lie to you. Nothing. And right away I was like, this is like this is refreshing because most people think I want a number.
yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. I just want to know the truth because I don't know how I can best help you. If you tell me 10, I might automatically be like, well, maybe you don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Right. But I said 0 and you were like, yeah, man, 0. And I'm like, why? What do you think it was? And that's not just to that brokerage. It's the style of brokerages that are set up today that are very principal broker or principal owner, self-serving. I get a desk fee from you.
Right.
If you do a deal, amazing. We have some lunch and learns. We call it training. We say we have the best training in the world.
Yeah.
Come sit in this room, eat some free food, and listen to a bank talk about a product. That's not training.
Yeah.
Like that does not teach you how to deal with a client. That does not teach you how to think on your feet. That's not like the stuff that we do has nothing to do. How many times, like I say to you guys all the time, products change every 30 days. If you want to be a product specialist, go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you right away identified. This is what I'm missing.
That's right.
Right.
And like is exactly what you said. Like that was their training. So the reason why I actually applied to that brokerage, because their advertisement was just like, we're like the best trainers. We have the best training team. We have so many agents. And then when I started there, first of all, I had no idea who'd ask for help, right? And they say, join these meetings. And I go to those meetings, give us coffee, donuts. We sit there all day, pretty much from like 9 to 5, sit there, and we just have guys from like the banks come in and talk about, this product, that product. It was pointless, and I had no idea because I had no idea what I was doing there. There was no other training. It was just talking about rates, products, and that was it. And that's what Nuborrow does differently, right? We have a process. We give our clients a plan. We dig deeper. And we learn a lot more, right? Especially in our 2 o'clocks, right? Like you teach us how to talk to our clients, right? What kind of questions to ask them. Those are kind of trainings that I never got anywhere, like regardless in the hospitality industry or even at the mortgage broker that I was at. Those are trainings that you'll never get anywhere.
You know, a fun fact, the reason why the trainings are designed the way they are, I would love to tell you that I have this giant brain, but I think about what I need or what I would need if I was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I listen to phone calls. I listen to you when I walk around. I listen to the recorded phone calls. I watch your signing. I do these things. And then I think to myself, there isn't a single time that I've done a mortgage in my very long career in finances where it ever had a single thing to do about the product. The product was the initial ask, me uncovering the problem, me building a relationship, and then identifying with the client, earning the right to let me help them is the success formula.
Yeah.
And nobody takes time to teach that. If they hear I teach that, they're like, oh yeah, we can do that too at our brokerage. And it lasts a week, a couple months. I tell you guys all the time, sales training fails because it is for that little moment of time. You put a few things into place. You don't practice. You try. It doesn't work. You go back to your old habit. You can't do that here because we do it every day.
That's right.
And when I was interviewing you, I was like, this guy just wants to be coached. Mm-hmm. And I ask now, female, male, whenever I'm in an interview, are you coachable? Right? I never asked Alessandra that when I met her. I didn't like her, by the way.
For the record, he hired me in 2 minutes.
So I was like, I'm going to hire this guy because most agents are in the industry 3 to 6 months and out. Mm-hmm. This is what he's doing. He's doing the pattern. But I didn't even at the time know your brokerage very well. And I thought to myself, but there's no way they're getting molded. You're getting coached.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the way you got in here and how you've been able to grow. And your growth, this is one thing that is easily overlooked. And we were talking about it because we're developing a partner program. Who would qualify, who wouldn't.
Yeah.
And your growth, and I mentioned this to you the other day, your growth has been slow, brother,
But steady.
but
and
steady.
Yeah.
Which means you try and you implement what you're learning, and it takes time for you to grasp it. It doesn't mean that you're not successful or you're not doing the right things. You are just you've proven to me over time, and I hope to yourself, that slow and steady wins the race. You've gone from 3 a month to 4 a month to 5 a month to 6 a month, right? And as long as you're making that trajectory,
Yeah.
and now you're married, so the pressure is on, brother,
Oh yeah. Pressure is on.
right?
Yeah.
That I think you like. What's your success for? What do you think's been successful for you besides me?
No.
No.
No. 100%. It is you, right? Like same thing I mentioned earlier. Like I've never got this type of training anywhere else, because everything that you teach us at the 2 o'clock is not just for Nuborrow. And you say this all the time, right? It's like transferable skills that we need anywhere we go. Even if I decide to leave Nuborrow, start my own brokerage, right?
Yeah.
Or do anything else, these are skills that I need. And we're so lucky to have you and be a part of this brokerage to learn these skills, right? Have someone teach us, because anywhere else you go, you have to pay for this. I see it online all the time, like pay for this, we can teach you this. And like, this is just ongoing training and skills that you're teaching us throughout the entire year. Sometimes, we're like, oh my God, he's doing this again, but we need it, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's
just,
what you guys say.
Well, I say it under my breath, and he wasn't supposed to say
Says it
that.
out loud, apparently. Oh my
You
God,
know.
really? This guy? No, I'm just joking.
right? So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest asset here, right? One of the biggest assets.
And I think the common, mistake that's made in the industry is, if I learn it once, I'll know it forever. So you've sat across the table from many people who own other brokerages, and they've kind of bought into certain programs, and they've paid for certain programs, and it's kind of a one-time use thing, where our training constantly evolves with what our clients' needs are, and what things that we're presented with, as opposed to just a one-day training and then everything. But that also plays into the people that we hire on the team. We need people who can continuously learn and who are willing to continuously learn, because he sat across tables from many principal brokers who themselves aren't even willing to learn. So how do you expect your team to grow and adapt if you yourself can't continuously educate yourself and find new materials and translate that off to your team?
The biggest downfall, right, is rate-based brokerages.
Yeah.
When rates are super low, it's super easy.
Yeah.
At least that's what it appears,
Yeah.
right? When we learned during COVID, that's not the case. 1.7 to 1.6. So if someone's offering 1.2, you're constantly battling between these rates and trying to figure out, you don't even know what the client wants. Well, what does that rate-based brokerage do when rates are high? When the Bank of Canada raises the rate? Now what's your selling point? When we started this company, we did away with all of that. I say it when I interview new people, I say it to you guys, this is only started with an agent in mind, not an owner or a principal broker.
Yeah.
So to your point, right? The ongoing training. What do we need? What are we lacking? Why are we sucking on the phone? Why can't we connect with people? What's happening in the market today, or what's going on right now in the media, in what they're digesting online? What's changing? What's changed? And what's happening now that I've noticed over a decade is trends change now. Like, it feels weekly. And clients' temperatures change weekly. Yeah. And if you're by a one program fits all, or worse, you have bank lunch and learns. No disrespect to my friends at the bank.
Yeah.
They do their job to get their product information out. That does not teach you what the temperature of the market is today, what's going on with the client. And very few agents will take the time to self-educate. And worse, there's so much out there, you might do the wrong education. And I'm not always right in everything I teach you guys to do. That's okay.
Or rates.
That's why the ongoing training and learning new skills is important, because especially nowadays, like you mentioned, like things are changing so fast, faster than ever before, right? The way we talk to clients,
Right.
communication, technology, right? All that kind of stuff. So it's important that we're always up to date and we're learning new skills to adapt to all that.
Right.
Yeah, and the only constant we have really is that clients will continue to have problems. People will always have a problem that we need to solve. So that's the only constant we have in this industry, is that there's someone out there that needs help or needs our help.
Like my dev team, Nuborrow, says to me all the time, you change your mind all the time. And I'm like, I know that's what it looks like, but I would say we're adapting. What we did 6 months ago might have been cool and new, but now there's been a tweak to something, and we can wait for everyone else to catch up and start trying that, or we can look at ways to implement that as long as it serves you. So you're faster, you're able to help more people, and it serves the client in ease of use in what we're doing. And I don't like the tech or the fintech or all those labels that we stick on everything. That's not why I do it. I do it so that, and you're good with tech here, so it helps, right? You and I talk about it. It's about what makes it easier for the senior, the aging population, to do business,
That's right.
Yeah.
to get the answers that they want, to get the guide. That's what they need the most, which is what I instill in you guys all the time.
Yeah.
You are not a mortgage agent. Stop it. You're just a guide. You just want to earn the right to be able to help somebody.
Yeah.
And you've embraced that a lot. Sometimes quietly. You don't say a lot sometimes,
quiet
right?
sometimes.
But you do it. You implement it. If I watch a video, this is what popped to mind when you were speaking about the training. Do you remember when we made you do a Dragon's Den pitch?
Yes.
You had to come up with your own product, or I gave you a product, I think, from a movie.
It's a
Yeah,
product
Yo,
list, yeah.
bro, you killed that.
I remember that.
And I remember how nervous and awkward you used to be making presentations, or not necessarily being, and you did such a good job on that presentation. It still sticks out to me. You took the time to make sure it had lights.
Yeah.
Like you created the product.
I love building things. I
Right?
love technology. So I was like, this is it.
Yeah. You
Time
did.
to shine.
Yeah, so we were talking in a previous podcast about when I look at agents, I'd only look at what growth. So your numbers might not be great. I don't care. Are you growing? If you're growing, then there's room to invest more into you and to help you grow and find out what I can do to help you grow better, that will make you or help you reach those goals. So outside of, you love the training and but what is it about the day-to-day, the things you do within Nuborrow that you would consider like why it is what you want to do, or why you connect with it so well?
Well, there's many reasons. So one reason I want to talk about is the team dynamics here, right? Even your interview and the hiring process, right? It's a lot different from everywhere else, right? Usually, if you go apply for another job, just HR people just asking you a bunch of questions, and then they hire you based off that. But here, I feel like it's mostly, it's not just you though, right? You also get our team members involved in that process as well. So, and it's mostly about the personality, right? And at the end of the day, when these people get hired, our team members, we all have the same mindset. We're all here to do one thing, and it's to help people. We have that drive to, solve issues, solve problems, and help our clients, right? So I love that. We're a great team effort here. We all work together, and like I mentioned, we're all here for one reason, right? That's one thing. And the other thing, what I love about Nuborrow is just, we have a process. So, follow the process, solve the problems, help the clients, and you're going to do well here. A lot of places I worked at is just like, kind of like, here, this is your job, figure it out, right?
Yeah, they lack that structure.
Yeah, the structure. And we have that so well here, right? It's like, this is it. We have to do this. This is the second process. It's the third step, the fourth step, right? And as long as you hit the process, you'll do just fine.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me about that statement is that long time ago, we used to have the process written out on the wall, right? So that people could look up and see where they're at. And then as we moved to different spaces, that didn't make it to the wall. And people who move on and go do something else from here thinking that they've got the secret, they've got the process. It's not the process. It's the pig-headedness to which we follow it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because when you don't and something happens in a deal, I can usually figure out
Where
and
there was
say
a
to you,
disconnect.
why didn't you do this step?
Yeah.
Client said it wasn't necessary. The client doesn't know. I really wish the client knew how a brokerage worked. It would make our lives a lot easier. But the client doesn't know.
Yeah.
The client doesn't know a fraction of the stuff that how a product works or how it may or may hurt him or her down the road. They don't know. So why on earth would you listen to them? Oh no, that's what the client wanted. So you have to sometimes stick to the process and say to the client, hey, listen, I understand that you want to get to the finish line. I do too. That's my main goal. But if we skip some of the steps along the way, from my experience and what we've been doing for the last decade, it is going to end up, it's just going to impact us down the road, and it's going to take longer than we want it to.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, and all the deals that you have done, and you get Google reviews, brother, like people, when they do connect with you, they love you. I don't, but they do. What's a client impact? What's a story to you that you've done something and you've went step back and been like, wow, I'm gonna tell my wife about this one.
Many clients, yeah. We got a lot of stories here. One story, yeah. Got a clients live in downtowns. They retired about 10, 11 years ago.
Okay.
They have no kids. And for the last 30, 35 years, he's been the chairman of a non-profit organization for kids.
Yeah.
It's like a mental organization. And I still remember his first call. Last year when he called me, he actually called the hotline. And the first thing he asked me was, do I have to do anything online, virtually? I was like, no, you don't. He's like, okay, great. Now let's talk. Because he's called a lot of places and they said, no, obviously during COVID, everyone's changed to virtual, right? So he reached out and, obviously we dug a little deeper, and he was buried in lots of debt, right? And I asked him what happened, and he explained to me that he got into this much debt because his organization didn't receive enough funding. So pretty much everything they made on pension and all their savings they had, they put all their hard-earned work money to keep that organization going, right? And they've been doing it for over 30 years. And I asked him, you retired 10, 11 years ago. Why are you still doing this? He's like, Raz, a lot of people ask me this, but he's like, I don't have kids, and these aren't my kids.
Wow.
Right? And also, a lot of, most of our agents don't get the opportunity to go to their clients' houses. So with this client, obviously, he didn't want to do anything virtually. I had to, go to his condo.
It's old school.
Old school,
Yeah.
very old school. So I had the opportunity to see his property as well. And, you could see his property, very outdated, duct tape everywhere, to hold up bathroom tiles, duct tapes, hold up light fixtures, duct tape. Just obviously asking about it. He's like, yeah, I don't have enough money to do any of this. And because I really want to help these kids out. They're my life. I don't have kids. These are my kids. They sold their car.
What?
Yes, sold their car, and they've just taken taxi everywhere. And he's like, that's eating so much of my money. I have to take the taxi here, taxi there. So this was a huge impact in my life because, I really wanted to help them, right? And, by me helping them, I also feel like I also contributed to that as well, right?
Yeah.
Giving back. And the best part about this is this year, they returned to me. They actually were supposed to work with Danielle, I think. They didn't answer any of her calls. They refused to work with her. And they're like, I want to work with Rez. And you know what? And now we're putting everything together and wrapping it all into one mortgage.
Wow.
Right? So they went through the whole program and they're going to graduate and, have one bank product. But yeah, that story, like someone with that kind of heart, right? I really wanted to help them. It just, my heart just melted just seeing the way they're living because they're helping other kids out, right? They didn't go to the, go on vacation or go gambling, and waste their money and go into debt because of that.
Right. They're giving back.
They're giving back.
Probably most people not even aware that they're the ones doing it, keeping it alive.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's such a story. It's I know who they are when you ask because you don't often go to someone's house, right? These days we just don't do that. So when you're like, hey boss, you're okay to go to, I'm like, I know who it is. go ahead. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Don't take the signing equipment from room 1, but you go and
never
do it
told me
anyway.
that.
Hey, but he's the tech god, so he put it back really fast and set it all back up.
But like the most popular room, and everyone's like, "Where is it? I can't sign my client."
No,
today."
I
That's
remember
our
that
room.
day. I remember that day too. He came in and I was like, "Why are you late?" And he's like, "Oh, I actually met a client on the road." And the last time I remembered I met a client on the road, I was like, "Oh, I almost ended up in a ditch." So I'm happy you came back in one
But
piece.
it's one of the cool things about you guys as a team that even though we are 100% digital, it's helped us grow 25, 27% or more each year with being the changes that we made, that we're still we still understand,
Yeah.
right? There are going to be people that aren't quite trusting of
Technology.
sending documents,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
these things, and we're willing to. You guys, it's you that takes the time. Like, I'm never going to say no because I want you to help the client, but the investment you make, getting in your car, taking the technology without asking, doing all driving, investing your time
Driving
to go
downtown.
right? Meeting I think there's a disconnect between none of that you're paid for.
No.
You're doing
That's
that out of the effort to get the job done and satisfy the client, and the expectations I have you, the expectations you set for yourself,
Yeah.
the ones your clients have on you, like the pressure on you guys sometimes. And I remember when I started, you only signed people in person.
Yeah.
We had a rule. You had to go in twos to someone's house because you don't really know what you're stepping into.
That's right.
Some people on this panel would ignore that rule and just go and walk into a ravine with a client. I personally wouldn't do that, and neither would you,
Never.
Rez? No, but
And I wouldn't do it again.
but Allie would. All right. All in the effort of helping somebody. And while those are the qualities you're hired for, there are things in today's day and age that you also have to be aware that it's not maybe the safest move to make. And
Yeah.
you build relationships with people and you trust, and then you go and see how they live and what the
Yeah.
sacrifices they're making. It leaves an impact on you, right?
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
it's a powerful story to end it on, because you have grown, my friend.
Thank you.
There are times where you get a little bit nervous to ask me for a day off, and I'm always like, how many more days you want off? Messing with you, or teasing you that your wife doesn't like me for some reason. I have no idea why. I've never even met her. Right? It's the stories you tell about me at home, right?
Yeah.
But what a monster I am. But you're this guy, right? Like, I come to him and say, hey, Rez, I need to move you because a new person's coming. And he's like, okay. Where do you want me to sit, boss? Hey, I need you to I'm busy. I need you to put this piece of, I brought something online and I can't figure out how to put it together. You're like, all right, no problem. I got you. Right? Those things I really appreciate, man. You have never once
welcome.
said no to someone on the team. You've never not been willing to help. You've always been the guy like that. We can be like, hey, Rez, can you climb on the roof? And yep, no problem. Don't tell your wife that. Right? And I really appreciate that stuff from you, because
Thank
those are
you.
things that you just do. You just give. You just give to people in here, and I don't think people even sometimes take the time to acknowledge it and say thank you. Right? Thank you,
you.
Rez, for
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
like being a big part of this team.
Appreciate
Right.
that.
All right. See you later, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.